Alright guys, so I'm going to go ahead and work through the study guide. We did go through a lot of these in class, but in case you guys have extra questions, I'm going to work them out here. So 1 through 3, I think that you guys are pretty good with that, so I'm going to skip those. But let's look at number 4. So I'm going to go ahead and work that one out. So I'm going to draw that first. Alright, so this says it's 8. This says it's 10 feet, not 17. It's 21. Okay, so our equation or our formula for triangles, it says to ask or asks us to calculate the area. We know that the area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. Now you can go ahead and find the area for separate triangles. I mean, if you want to work harder, to be honest, I don't want to do that. This is actually a triangle, so I can plug in my information here and find the area for all of that. So my area would be my base. My base here is 21, so I'm going to plug that in. 21 times my height, which is 8, divided by 2. Now if I do that, I'm going to calculate it. 21 times 8, I believe, gets you 168. Let me double check myself. 8, yep, and then divide that by 2. I should get 84 feet squared. Okay, so that's how you did number 4. Let's look at number 5. We did do this one in class, and I'm going to show you a different way how to do this one. So I will discuss both ways. So we kind of touched on this, but the area of a trapezoid, which I actually did not tell you guys, so either way, you can use the method I showed you in class and before, or you can use the formula, which is base 1 plus base 2 times my height divided by 2. So that's basically, let me fill this in and I'll explain where we pull these numbers from. That's 15.5, this is 14.5 inches, and then our height is 14. Okay, so this is actually our first base, and that's actually our second base as well. So you guys can go ahead and plug these in. So I could do 16 plus 6 times my height, which is 14, divided by 2, and I should get area is equal to, I'm just going to confirm, 16 plus 6 gives me 21 times 14 divided by 2. Oh. I'm so sorry. 22 plus or times 14 by 2 should give me 154 inches squared. Now again, the second way we talked about this was kind of split this part and split this part as well. Now we know that this is 6 inches, so if we took 6 inches away from our total base down here, we'd be left with 10. Okay, so these are both triangles, so if we actually combine both of these, we would know that these two would actually make a new base of 10. I know that's a little bit more complicated, but if you guys understand how I got that, you can totally do that as well. And I knew my base is 14, so you could do 10 times 14 divided by 2 as well, plus your area for that rectangle that you would calculate. So 6 times 14 plus whatever 10 times 14 divided by 2 is. Okay, so those are two ways you can solve that area of a trapezoid. So I'm going to go to, we did number 3 in class, so that's pretty self-explanatory. Let's go to number 6 in class. Let's go to number 7. Oops, cannot draw straight lines, told you guys. And that's pretty sad because this is a grid. Okay, so my height, it says it's 5/6 of a foot, and my base is 1 2/3 of a foot. Okay, so what I need to do is, I know that the area of a rectangle is base times height. So I know my area would be 1 2/3 times 5/6. Now I'm going to go ahead and convert my mixed number into an improper fraction. So the way I would do this is 1 times 3, which gives me 3, plus my numerator is 5, keep my denominator, times 5/6, and I get 5 times 5, which is 25, 3 times 6, which is 18. Now, since this is actually an improper fraction, I'm going to go ahead and convert it back to a mixed number, and I get my total area is actually equal to 18 goes into 25 once, 7 left over, and keep my old denominator 18. I cannot simplify 7 and 18, so it's just simply 1 7/18 of a foot squared. Okay? Alright, so moving on. Okay, so let's look at number 8. I don't believe we did this one in class, so I'll do this one with you guys. It's pretty self-explanatory, but you never know, so it's better to just be sure. Okay, so I'm going to draw my figure. Okay, so this says it's 6 feet, this says it's 2 feet, this says it's 3 feet, and this says it's 5 feet. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of block this off into shapes that I understand, and I'm going to just kind of chop that little part off. Okay, so I know that if this figure right here, this little shape, I already have my base and I already have my height. So if I calculated area for that, and again I said, guys, you can label your shapes and do your math down here. So my area for A would be base, which is 3, times my height, which is 5. So my area would be 15 feet squared. So this part is 15 feet squared. And then for B, that would be, first off, we have to find our base, really. So if we know that this total length, again, this is not drawn to scale at all. I'm so sorry, this is not accurate. Let me try to make it look a little bit better. Nope, that's still not accurate. Well, I'm doing my best, but you guys understand what I'm trying to do. So this said it was 2 feet. And now we can calculate. Okay, so if I know that this whole thing is 6 feet and this little section is 3, I'm going to say that this section is also a 3-foot section. So now I have my base and my height here. So if I do 3, which is my base, times my height, which is 2, I get 6 feet squared. 6 feet squared. Now I'm not done, because since this is actually a composite figure, we need to add those areas together and we should get 21 feet squared.